For more on Asian American voters, let's go right to Raymond Partolan. He is the National Field Director for the organization Asian and Pacific Islander American Vote. Thank you so much for joining us, Raymond.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Well, so more than 13.3 million Asian Americans are projected to be eligible to vote this year, up from 9%, up 9% rather from 2018. What do you think are the biggest issues right now, and do they differ by their ethnic identity?
That's a really great question. So every other year, my organization, Asian and Pacific Islander American Vote, conducts an Asian American voter survey, and we try and get to the bottom of exactly that. What are the issues that our community cares about? And we take that survey and we actually disaggregate that data into the major ethnic groups. So we are able to determine how Chinese Americans, how Korean Americans, Filipino Americans, Vietnamese Americans, Indian Americans, how they feel about the issues that impact our everyday lives. And according to our survey this year in 2022, Asian American voters care about many of the same issues that the general electorate cares about. These things are healthcare, the economy, crime, inflation, education, gun control, and the environment. But it's also really important to note that every single one of these issues, we as a community are viewing them through the lens of a rise in anti-Asian hate and violence. That is at the top of everyone's mind this year as they are going to the polling place.
Yeah, and that makes sense considering what we've seen in the last 2 years with the incidents going up. I want to ask you about some Pew Research numbers. More than half of eligible Asian American voters are naturalized citizens rather than their U.S.-born counterparts. What role does that play in their decision-making process, or what issues are important to them?
That's a really great question. So, a large component of the Asian American electorate is comprised of naturalized voters, as you noted. So as a community, we are growing at an incredibly fast rate. We are among the fastest growing major racial groups in the United States. In fact, according to the last census, the Asian American community has grown by about 38.6% over 2010. That's an increase of over 6 million people. And so a component of that increase is the rise in naturalized individuals who are now registering to vote and turning out to vote. And so when they go to the polling place, when they cast their ballots, of course, they're going to be thinking about the issues that are pertinent to them and relevant to them in their lives. These include things like immigration. How easy is it or how difficult is it to become a naturalized citizen here in the United States? And this is actually an issue that is very personal to me as an individual, as someone who was born in the Philippines, brought to the United States at the age of 1, and at the age of 10, becoming undocumented and spending the majority of my life as an undocumented person. Immigration is definitely an issue that is top of mind for many Asian American voters.
Well, I want you to elaborate on that. I read a little bit about you. You are an Asian dreamer, as we call it here, part of the DACA program. What does this election mean to you? And are you concerned that immigration perhaps isn't one of the top issues that we're hearing about nationwide?
I think that when we think about that question, we have to consider the fact that our community is so incredibly diverse. We are comprised of dozens of different ethnic groups. We speak dozens of different languages, and it's really hard to pinpoint, where our community is in terms of where we generally stand on certain issues because of that incredible diversity that we all enjoy. So while immigration is definitely up there in terms of issues that we as a community care about, it is among myriad issues that we all care about. And so for me, this election is incredibly important because as you said, and as I'm an Asian dreamer, I became undocumented at the age of 10, and 2 years ago, thankfully, I was able to get my green card. I finally became a permanent resident here in the United States. And yet, still, I'm not yet a US citizen, which means that I personally will not be able to cast a ballot in this election. However, millions of other Asian American voters are going to the polls this year. In fact, we're already seeing, based on our analysis, early numbers are showing an increase in Asian American voter turnout over 2018. And that's actually part of an ongoing pattern that we've noticed in recent years. Similarly, voter turnout among the Asian American community was greater in 2020 compared to 2016, despite challenges related to the pandemic and the rise of anti-Asian hate. So for me, this election is important. It is, again, an opportunity for the Asian American community to flex our political muscle and show the United States that we as a community are here. We have the power to influence election outcomes, and we deserve to have a say in who gets to represent us at every level of government.
Raymond Partolan, we appreciate you joining us. Thank you for breaking it all down, and we look forward to hearing when you're able to vote in the United States.